Yo, what's up guys, it's King Sean here, and in today's video, I will be giving you guys my game preview for Sunday's game between the Commanders and the Falcons going on the road versus Atlanta. Excited for Sunday's game, an opportunity to move to 3-1. We're super banged up, and we're going to talk about that in today's preview video, along with my keys to victory for Sunday's matchup versus the Falcons, and I'll give my final score prediction at the end of the video. Before I get into today's video, make sure y'all leave a like down below, subscribe if you're not already subbed up to the channel, and turn on notifications. And with that out of the way, let's get straight into today's video. Alright, so let's start off with the injury report. Starting off with our injury report. 4 guys have been ruled out: John Bates, Noah Brown, Jaden Daniels, and Terry McLaurin. Bates, Brown, McLaurin, not a surprise. DQ classified McLaurin's quad injury as week to week, so we'll see how he is or where he is next week going into the Chargers game, but he will be out this week against Atlanta. And then Noah Brown, John Bates still dealing with their groin injuries. I thought Jaden would play. I'm not going to lie. I thought he would play. However, I think they just want to give him one more week. They're comfortable with Mariota starting, and they're like, you know what? Let's just let Jaden, sit one more week, have him return for the Chargers game. We feel like we can get it done with Marcus Mariota at QB, and I think so too. Now, we're missing a lot, man. I mean, now Terry's out with an injury. Like, when you're out both your QB1 and receiver 1, man, that's tough. That's tough. Now, I do still think we can win this game, and I do think we will win this game, and I'll get to that later. But, Jaden is out once again, which means Marcus Mariota will get the start. Percy Butler and Ja'Cory Cross-Camara are questionable. I think Bill will play, but we'll see about Percy Butler. And then Colson Yankoff and Trey Amos, they have no game status, so they are good to go. And then as for the Falcons injury report, I'm not going to go too deep into this. I mean, the only guy that is out that is really important is AJ Terrell. Nate Carter, a backup running back of theirs, and then Kadero Hodge are also out as well. They didn't practice all week, but AJ Terrell, I knew he wouldn't play. I mean, that hamstring injury he suffered versus the Vikings was pretty bad. He didn't play last week versus the Panthers, and he's not going to play this week versus us. So, that is a loss for the Falcons in their secondary. Now, we don't have Terry, so we don't get to see, Terry versus Terrell. But still, that is a loss for the Falcons in their secondary. But everybody else on the injury report is good to go. So that is it right there for the injury report. All right, let's get to these keys to victory. Key to victory number 1 for the offense: establish a run game early and often. QB1's out again. Now Terry McLaurin is out again, along with Noah Brown. And at this point, Noah Brown, I don't know Noah Brown. I don't. I mean, he's just injured all the time. I don't know when he's going to return. But right now, he's obviously not available, right? And he was one of our starting 3 receivers, right? So right now, I mean, it kind of feels like training camp again, right? I mean, obviously Jaden's out, but our primary weapons, Debo, obviously have Ertz, but then after Debo, our receivers, Jalen Lane and Luke McCaffrey, right? Like, it's literally going to be that again. Crazy, right? Who would have thought? But because of that, we're going to have to establish a run game. And I think Bill's going to play. Did not practice the past 2 days. However, he did practice today. DQ, gave some optimism about him in his press conference today. I think he will play in Sunday's game against Atlanta. He's going to need to step up along with Chris Rodriguez and Jeremy McNichols and Marcus Mariota. He's going to take off and run at times and, run some read options, design runs as well. Our run game so far this season has been really good. The Falcons, I think, are ranked 10th when it comes to stopping the run, so they aren't bad at stopping the run. However, we still need to establish a run game, especially if we want to win this game, because right now our top weapon is out, our third receiver is out. We're going to need to establish a run game in order to beat this Falcons team. Key to victory number 2 for the offense: protect Marcus Mariota. I think we did a really good job of protecting Marcus Mariota last week against the Raiders. Now, the thing with the Raiders is it's really Max Crosby and then a bunch of dudes. I think the Falcons D-line, there's no guy on there obviously better than Max Crosby, but they got 2 stud young pass rushers on the edge in Jalen Walker and James Pierce. Now, those 2 guys are young dudes. Any of those 2 guys go against Laremy Tunsil, I'm not really nervous. It's against Josh Conley Jr. that, we'll see, right? Rookie on rookie action right now. With Josh Conley Jr., he more so struggles against power and not quickness and speed. And those 2 guys are more speed and quickness, especially James Pierce Jr. However, those two guys, we still got to worry about them, right? So protecting Marcus Mariota in this game will be very important. Only gave up 1 sack last week versus the Raiders and did not give up a lot of pressures. And I expect us to do the same this week if we want a great chance at winning this game. And the key to victory number 3 for the offense: start fast and score points in the red zone, specifically touchdowns. Now, the Falcons haven't given up a lot of points. I know they gave up 30 last week, but Michael Penix, he threw a pick 6, so that accounts for 7. So they haven't given up a lot of points, to be honest with you. And we scored 41 versus the Raiders last week. The Raiders defense isn't the Falcons defense, though. The Falcons defense is better. However, still think we can put up points, even though our best weapon is out and our QB1 is out as well. But the way we can put up more points is by starting fast, and that will help out a lot. We started off fast versus the Raiders last week with the Debo kick return, and that set us up in prime position to score a touchdown, and that's exactly what we did. So we need to do the same thing this week, and I feel like if we do, then we'll have a great chance of winning this game. Moving over to the defensive side of the ball, key to victory number 1 for the defense: stop Bijan Robinson. Stop Bijan Robinson. We've done a fantastic job of limiting running backs over the first 3 weeks of the season. And we played Ashton Jeanty last week. I know the Raiders O-line ain't great, but, Ashton Jeanty is a good running back. 2 weeks ago, we played the Packers, Thursday Night Football. Josh Jacobs had like 23 carries for like 84 yards. That's not great. That's like 3.7 yards a carry, right? So we've done a really, really good job of containing running backs, and obviously the Giants running backs only had like, I want to say 50 total yards of rushing. So we've done a really good job of stopping the run game. Like, our run defense is really, really good now. I mean, if I would have told you that before the season started, I don't know if you would have believed me, because our run defense was so bad last year, right? So Bijan Robinson's a new challenge, though, right? Probably the hardest challenge we're going to go up against so far, right? And he's super shifty, super elusive, so we got to watch out for him. However, I believe that our run defense, what it has shown us through the first 3 weeks of the season, makes me confident that we can stop Bijan Robinson. And if we do, then man, I mean, that would be absolutely huge for us when it comes to winning this game. If we slow down the run game, then we have an amazing chance to win this. Key to victory number 2 for the defense: get pressure on Michael Penix Jr. We've done a really good job of getting pressure on the quarterback first 3 games of the year, especially versus the Giants and this past week versus the Raiders. I mean, 5 sacks on them. Bobby Wagner had 2 sacks. Dorrance had a sack. Von Miller had a sack. Javonte Jean-Baptiste had a sack. So we've done a really good job of getting to the quarterback. Now, this Falcons O-line is better than the Raiders O-line, better than the Giants O-line. They've had a pretty good O-line for the past couple of years, honestly. They have a good O-line. I think they've only allowed like 4 or 5 sacks this season. So, their O-line be protecting their quarterback, right? But I do think we can get to Michael Penix. Dorrance Armstrong has had a really good season. Deron Payne, he's had a good season. We'll see if Von Miller can get another sack this week, right? So I think we can get to Dorrance Armstrong, or not Dorrance Armstrong, sorry. I think we can get to Michael Penix Jr. And if we could do that, then we can make him uncomfortable and force him to make some mistakes. Maybe turnover. I'm not counting on it at this point. I mean, we don't create turnovers. That's just it. We don't. But we could definitely make Penix feel uncomfortable if we can get pressure on him. And if we do, then that will be very beneficial for us, obviously. And then key to victory number 3 for the defense: limit giving up big plays. We cannot give up any big plays in this game. That has been our biggest weakness, honestly, through the first 3 weeks of the season. We have given up a lot of big plays. I think according to Joe Witt Jr., we've given up 9 big plays, so plays of 20-plus yards or more. We gave up, I think, 2 or 3 to the Raiders last week. I know Trey Tucker had one, and then Jacoby Myers had one. And the week before, the Packers, they had so many big plays on us, right? So we can't give up big plays. We can't, and we have to limit them in this game. The Falcons haven't generated a lot of big plays this year, so, that's a good thing, and we have to keep that going. So, again, we have to be sound in the back end, no coverage bust, no miscommunication, because if we have those, then the big plays will happen, and we can't give them up at all. So, once again, we cannot allow any big plays in this game. And then as for my final score prediction, got us winning this game 27-20. This is going to be a close game. I'm not looking at the Falcons in the light they were last week. It's a week-to-week league. They looked terrible last week. However, it's the NFL. Anything is possible, and I believe they will be better. I mean, if you lose 30-0, you're not trying to replicate that again, so they will definitely be better this week. And we're missing a lot of our guys, Noah Brown, John Bates, Terry McLaurin, Jay Daniels on defense, Will Harris, Dietrich Wise. We're missing a lot of stuff, okay? However, I do think we can get it done. I think Marcus Mariota revenge game. This is a for real revenge game against the Falcons, man. The way things ended over there in 2022, it sucked, man, for sure. So I know he wants his revenge. I think we're going to get the run game going, and I believe that's what's going to help us win the game. We'll see how much, Lane, Luke, Chris Moore, all those guys, getting targets. They're going to get a lot more opportunities this week, and we'll see if they take advantage of them. But again, I have us winning this game 27-20. So that's it for today's video. Hope you guys enjoyed. If you did, leave a like down below, subscribe if you're not already subbed up to the channel, and turn on notifications. Comment down below your thoughts on Sunday's game, your keys to victory, and your score prediction. And other than that, it's Big K Sean, and I'm out. Peace.